Morning everyone. It's time for me to do my third video of my series Budget Cooking with JJ, and it's Mother's Day 2026. I've opened my lovely cards from the people in my house and had a shower and all ready to get cooking. Just a quick side note, living with a celiac, we have to be very careful to keep everything from being cross-contaminated. So usually we use clean, new Chuck's wipes. We go through a lot of these, usually buy a big roll of them every week. So yes, we do. It's very important to keep things from being cross-contaminated. We can't wash those properly. We do use clean tea towels every time we do some gluten-free cooking. And we make sure all the benches are wiped down constantly in this house. Because things do land. We try not to use any gluten-free flour because that tends to get into the air and coat a lot of the surfaces, so we tend to use gluten-free flour wherever possible in our recipes. We'll be doing another recipe that I just thought of. I'll keep that one under wraps. It'll be a surprise. So on with our cooking. Okay, so today I'm just using up some things I had in the fridge. I don't have a lot of vegetables left, so I'm winging this one, coming straight from my head. The reason I'm doing it today, Mother's Day, Josh is cooking me a lovely meal tonight for Mother's Day. However, Woolworths in their wisdom always gives me short-dated items. Chicken doesn't stay very nice for very long, so I'm going to make a chicken, no veggies, and spinach and garlic risotto. I think this will come in well and truly under $10. I think this was about $6. This is about $2. And that's $1. So $9. And this will do quite a large serve. So let's see. Just another little side note. These pots and pans are from Kmart. They're very good. They last us a long time. So it's only like $50 for a whole set of them, and that you get a whole range of fry pans, big pots, little pots, tiny pots. So that's our utensil of choice. I did forget stock cubes again, Massol. So let's get started. So again, I'm smashing up my garlic, which makes it a lot easier to peel. I'm using a lot of garlic because it is garlic. It is chicken, garlic and spinach risotto, so we want the flavour of garlic to come right through. It's a lot easier than peeling 5 cubes of garlic, 5 cloves of garlic. It's always good to clean up as you go. It doesn't cook in a small kitchen. It doesn't become overwhelming then when you end up with a whole pile of messy pots and pans and knives and spoons and everything cluttering your way. I actually had less room than this when I was raising my family to cook. My kitchen has been extended in the last few years, and I do wonder how I ever cooked in a kitchen the size of the one I've got. So we're going to just chop our onion up. You can take the onion or leave it. I decided to use it because I have a lot of onion at the moment, and that counteracts when I never have any. So I've got that all chopped up. I'm going to just throw that into the pan. So use a really good splash of olive oil for this recipe. Because in the risotto you need a little bit too, because the rice will soak it up. Right now we're just going to throw in our onion and garlic and turn that on to a low setting or mid setting there while we chop up our chicken thigh fillets, which is my preference. Quite easy to chop up. I use my Wiltshire for this, and all of these benches have been cleaned thoroughly, by the way, so it doesn't matter if anything gets on there. My hands have also been. And the cat's here And they've given me ones with bones in them. Hey, thank you, Woolies. Thank you, Woolies. It's supposed to be fillet, boneless fillet, but it's not. So I've only got half the chicken I thought I had. Good old Woolworths. I'm not going to spend too much time getting that off. I do dice this rather small for the risotto. And I'll throw the cat a little bit because he does love raw chicken. Both cats love raw chicken. Wrap bags. I'm just going to chuck that in as we go. This is a one-pot meal. Do everything in that pot. And chuck it into the takeaway containers and put them in the freezer. So dice it up nice and small. And I'll be going back to Woolworths and saying, this is not what I ordered. And you didn't refund me the excess. Good old Woolworths. When cooking with a celiac as well, it's very important. I always wash up under hot running water. It's the best way to get rid of any chance of cross-contamination. So straight back in there. And I'll give this a rinse off and then I'll wash it again to make sure all the food's off it. This is, of course, not vegan. I do tend to have some meat meals. We do eat a lot. Well, we rarely eat red meat, so if we have meat, it's chicken or fish. Sometimes mince, like we put in our cottage pie yesterday. But this one, of course, is not vegan or vegetarian. But you could easily make it so. Mushrooms is one you could substitute. It's a really good, makes a really good risotto. You can chuck in pumpkin. Pumpkin's a good one. Pumpkin and spinach is excellent. It doesn't have a lot of protein in it, so I tend to look at what I can put protein and iron into. Not always possible though, but yes, you can make a very good vegan risotto, so keep that in mind. We'll do it one day. Turn that up to high now to get it going. I will take that out and reserve it, put it in a bowl while I do the rice. The spinach will just be thrown in with the rice as it cooks down in the stock. I don't do risotto the way it's meant to be done. I usually put most of the stock in and just let it simmer itself down. Quick and easy, won't win any MasterChef awards, but it will win the awards of the people eating it. So just keep that stirring the whole time so it doesn't go brown. We don't want it to go brown and have our risotto looking all yucky colour. Just a note on the rice. I don't know how I ended up with this in my shopping trolley, the Woolworths brand, because normally there are certain things that I like to support, and they are the brands that support sports, junior sports in particular. So Sunrise and the other ones, I usually tend to buy those. Not a lot of difference when they mark them down on special. There's not a lot of difference in price, but I am supporting those Australian businesses. There are some things I buy in Woolworths brand because they're just outpriced in any other brand. But rice is not one of them, and I don't know how I ended up with this, but I did. And I don't actually measure when I go, so I'm sorry about that. You'll just have to figure it out for your own family, for yourselves. I adapt as I go along. That's my strong point. And I think learning to use what you've got on hand in the amounts you've got it is a valuable skill in these trying times, in this cost of living. As I've noticed, very recent price rises, especially when going out to eat. We've noticed a huge jump in prices, so our minimal eating out has gone down to very rare. Another skill of mine that I have learnt over the years is multitasking. I'm only multitasking with cooking and cleaning at the moment and drinking my coffee in this beautiful cup. Rosie Ferguson, if you're watching, this is my favourite cup now that you gave me for my retirement send-off. Thank you, Rosie. I love it. This Kmart cookware is very good. It's not burning on the bottom very quickly like it did the other day when I forgot I was cooking and walked away. That's a skill I've learnt in very recent times when I've become very forgetful. So there's actually quite a bit more chicken than I thought there was. So it's probably cost a lot less. So that's brought the cost of our meal down considerably. If you do want to save money, buy the chicken thigh with bone in. It is a lot cheaper and they tend to drop it on special, and there's a lot more than I thought there was in this. I'm just lazy when it comes to chicken. I like to chop it up. So that's almost done. I'm using a slotted spoon. I know I shouldn't cook with plastic, but I do. Sorry. And we're going to take that out and pop it in a bowl. Reserve it for, we're going to throw that back in at the last minute. See, the bottom's still nice and clean. Ready for our risotto. I won't wash this up. I'm not going to wash it up. Not sure how much rice I'm going to put in, but I'll figure it out. I'll put that over the side there. Pull that off the heat for a moment. And then we go with, I don't know, maybe half a bag. So that's 1 kilo bag, so maybe that's 500 grams of rice. It's probably a bit much, but anyway, we'll run with that. And we just stir it quickly. A little bit more oil will need to go in because we need to coat that with oil. Your risotto. Risotto is pretty hard to make, but it's easy if you just follow a few simple rules. Don't worry what the chefs say. Do it how you think it needs to be done. So we just coat that. And over here, I've popped in 4 cubes of stock cubes and made up a litre. I will need more water in that, I'm pretty sure, but I will work that out as I go. A little bit more oil in our pot. It's still up on high, and we will turn that down once we get our stock going. A bit more oil, because I do like, and again, I bought this on special. I tend to buy 2 large ones because olive oil is one thing that has gone right up in price, and I do like using olive oil. So that brand is Lagina. Woolworths isn't as good. Okay, so just make sure that's all nicely coated and not going brown. And then we'll go with our stock. Doesn't matter if it's not dissolved. That's no drama. So we'll get that up to boiling, and then we'll turn it down to simmer, and we'll cover it to keep the moisture in. So I'll just fill this ready to put in more water. I've run out of stock cubes. I would probably, depending on rice, the amount of rice, I would probably put up to 6 stock cubes, and depending on how salty you want it. It'll take a little while to bring it back to the boil. Yeah, see, that's soaking up that stock very quickly. So I'm just going to add some more water in, and we need to keep an eye on the consistency. It takes a little bit of practice, but I'm sure you'll be fine. Just taste your rice from time to time. Make sure it's not crunchy. Once it's not crunchy, it's done. And we can add, we'll add the spinach back in before that point. But right now we'll just simmer that down until all the moisture is soaked up by the rice. Pop the lid on to help that happen, and we'll be back in a minute. So I've put in about half a packet of Bell Farms spinach. It's 250 grams in that pack, perfect size. They've just gone from 95 cents to $1, so great value on the spinach. I may put that whole packet in, I think. So I'm just going to stir that in because I think our rice is done. So I'll just stir in the spinach. Actually, I'm going to put in the whole pack. So 250 grams of spinach. It will be very spinachy, but that's okay. So this recipe again has lots of protein from the chicken, lots of iron from the spinach. So it's a great meal to have on standby, in your freezer, in your fridge. Great to take to work if you're working for a work lunch or dinner. So I'll just pop the lid on that, turn it down to low, and let that spinach thaw, and we'll be back in a minute. So as you can see, that that's not overwhelmed with spinach, using that 250 gram bag. And just a note for those people who grew up eating a lot of yucky spinach, boiled and yucked to death, this doesn't even taste like spinach. It's something, these spinach cubes, you can throw it into any meal you want. I often throw it into spaghetti bolognese, curries, everything I cook actually, to make sure that both Hannah and I have our iron kept up. We both have autoimmune diseases, so very, very important for us to keep our iron up. On top of supplements, I tend to use spinach a lot. So keep that little trick up your sleeve. And it looks green, but it's not overwhelmed with the spinach, as you can see. We'll just throw our chicken back in now, chicken, garlic and onion. And we will give that a good stir. And doesn't that look amazing? And still the best ingredient is not in there. Because what is a risotto without Parmesan cheese? We do love Parmesan in this house. And that's just perfect. Ready for our Parmesan on top. Give it a good stir first before you put your Parmesan in. And that looks pretty amazing to me. So we'll pop our Parmesan in. I'm using a mix of Woolworths brand and Perfect Italiano. I usually buy whatever's on special. If nothing's on special, I resort to Woolies. But you can use shaved Parmesan. Shaved is my preference, but obviously grated was on special this week. I put a lot of that in. And there you have it. We will just box it up in some takeaway containers for the freezer, because tonight we have a nice roast meal on the menu. So these will all go in the freezer. Okay, so there's our finished risotto. Chicken and spinach. This would have been amazing with a bit of pumpkin in it. What I do with pumpkin and zucchini, you can roast them in the oven before you put them into your risotto. And pumpkin is a fantastic addition, but I'm all out. Now I'm thinking this is going to make about 5, but it might do 6. It is a very filling meal. So don't overdo it. So let's see if we can get 6 out of it. Put 2 heaped spoons of it in there. And these will go straight into the freezer. Very tasty. Very tasty meal. So that's a 750 ml container. If you like smaller ones, they come in 500 mils. For bigger appetites like Josh's, you can do 1 litre, 1000 mils. We're going to get 6 out of this, making it very, very economical meal. And in fact, I could probably squeeze 7 out of it, but I'll just top up these containers a little with what's left there. So fill up those ones that are a little lean. As you can see, these Kmart pots, nothing sticks to them. It's just great. And that's it. That's our chicken and spinach, garlic, onion risotto. 6 tubs of it. Have a wonderful day, and we'll be back with zucchini slice next time. See you then. Bye.